Well, I made a comment, I don't know, several hours ago about someone on your show mentioned Mrs. Thatcher.
Yeah.
On radio, on this channel, mentioned Mrs. Thatcher.
Yes.
As if she would be God's gift to... I hear many of your presenters praising her, including yourself, by the way, to the heavens. When she was an absolute... I mean, she wasn't sacked by the Labour Party. She was sacked by her own cabinet because she was heading for certain defeat.
I don't think she was heading for certain defeat, but what she did was an interesting thing, David, and you'll know this because you're in Britain's best city. There were 400 people, 400 MPs she was the boss of, and she'd have 30 of them in the cabinet. And if one of them disagreed, she'd get rid of them. And after 11 years, there were 400 people who all had been sacked, and they all got together and got rid of her. She was a pioneer, man. She was, she was unbeaten. She was an election-winning machine.
Well, that's your view. You asked for mine, and I've given you it. I think she was an absolute... I mean, I'm not Labour. I don't vote for anybody. I can't be bothered with senior politicians.
But you see, that's no good, David, is it? You don't vote. You've no right to an opinion then. Why don't you vote?
My opinion... You see, I have no opinion. Politicians have the right to abstain from voting, and have far more clout with their votes than I have.
Okay, so do you not vote in an election then? You don't vote?
No, I used to before I became too intelligent.
When did that happen? David, tell me when that happens.
Mugs vote. That's why I can't. It's ridiculous. I don't want to go into all that. Mrs. Thatcher was kicked out by her own cabinet.
She was.
Not by anybody else.
Do you think Boris Johnson will be kicked out?
Who? Yes, I think he will be.
Yeah. What do you think of Keir Starmer?
He's a clown. He's an absolute clown.
What about Keir Starmer?
Oh well, from what I've seen of him, he'd send anybody to sleep.
Yeah, see, I think this is a rather good analogy of British politics. Boris is a clown. Keir Starmer's about as interesting as, a sleep pill. What about who's your local MP in Newcastle then?
I haven't got a clue. I gave up voting long ago.
If I stood in your constituency, would you vote for me, David?
Well, some of the things you say I like to hear, but not everything. One of the things I disagree with is your deification, if I can get the word right, of people like Mrs. Thatcher. I mean, dear me, she was an absolute... No, I don't want to say the words I'm thinking of.
No, because I'll be fired and that'll please too many people. Listen, can I just say something? I love your passion, but surely the best way of getting rid of Boris Johnson is to vote for an opposition party against him, David. Then you can't moan, can you?
That's another joke. I mean, how many Labour constituencies supported the Tories to get him in?
How did it feel on a serious note, and I mean this genuinely, how did it feel on election night when Blythe fell to the Tories, when you realised that the working man, that red wall, all went for the Tories? That must have been a shock, seriously. You were brought up, well...
There are a lot of places in the north, in the northeast and in the northwest who vote Tory. It's not a Labour landscape entirely by any means. There are lots of them vote Tory, and they always have done this. They're not all Labour.
Are you politically homeless then, David?
I'm glad to be.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't want to be a member of any party. I'm an individual, and I don't believe... they're just all mouthpieces.
Will you ever vote again?
I'll tell you who I did admire, and he was murdered in his constituency. That David, I forgot his second name recently.
David Amos, very tragically, yes, David Amos.
And he was Conservative.
Yeah, he was a good man. We agreed about something. So, I take it you're a Sunderland fan then?
No, I'm not. I used to play football when I was in the army, and we had a good side, but I don't watch or listen to it now.
Toon Army? You're not part of the Toon Army, Dave?
No, I'm too intelligent for that as well.
Right, so you're too intelligent to vote, you're too intelligent to watch football. What floats your boat, David, in Newcastle?
I love Newcastle. It's a city. I love where I live. It's a lovely place. I love Tyneside. I wouldn't live anywhere else, and I've lived in a lot of places.
Good man.
including abroad.
I love your passion.
And, I just wouldn't live anywhere else. I love living here. It may, I'm getting on now anyways.
Real pleasure to speak to you, Dave.